Whew, still sick from the bachelor party and drank too much alcohol. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I really hope that you've been enjoying all the content that I've been doing these past couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun trying to figure out formats. I have a lot of new formats coming up that are super fun and exciting, and I really wait for that truck to go by. That are super fun and exciting, and I'm sure you guys are gonna love. It's gonna be a lot of about eating in the Philippines and trying to find certain restaurants and certain dishes and trying to figure out which one's the best. So I'm super psyched and excited about that. But before that, as you know, I was recently in a trip in Japan, and when I was there, I was just kind of in awe all the time about the care and the selection of ingredients put in their food. And I realized that Japanese people eat mostly vegetables. When I personally go to a Japanese restaurant, most of the time in the Philippines or whether I'm in Japan, I'm eating all the heavy stuff. I'm having some katsu, I'm having some sashimi, maybe like 12 slices, salmon's 12 slices. I tend to overeat in Japanese restaurants because it's just so good and you feel like it's so light. So you're just eating a bunch of tuna, salmon, some Wagyu strips and stuff like that. But you realize when you go to Japan, well, from my experience of when I went to the countryside and everything, and I'll show you a little bit of that after this little talk, I realized that they eat a majority of vegetables. So maybe 80 to 90% of what they eat is vegetable and starch, and then maybe only 10% or 15% at the most is protein. Like when they eat sashimi, it's not necessarily 12 slices like we would do it. It's a sharing plate in the middle, and people are having 2 slices each. When they eat 2 slices each. When they eat Wagyu, for example, it's always like 100 grams, 80 grams, small slices, whereas when I eat steak, usually I'll be eating close to 300, 400, 500 grams. My brother-in-law, Nico, will eat 1 kilo, no kidding, like literally 1 kilo in one sitting. So after Japan, I came here, and then if you've been following me, you know that I've been vegan now for about 20 days. I'm not shouting it out from the rooftop. I'm doing this simply as an experience and as an experiment to see where it takes me, and I thought it'd be really cool to just document it. So this is not that big vegan video. Eventually, maybe I think mid-September, I'll release my full vegan analysis video, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether I feel the same, whether it's changed or whether it's not changed me at all. So that'll come out soon. So I've been vegan for about 20 days. The experience has been good so far. I'm not gonna tell you guys too much about it because that's for another video. But I've been enjoying kind of just messing around with recipes. So to tie up my Japanese experience and this whole new vegan thing that I'm doing temporary, I thought I'd show you a really cool recipe for a vegan ramen. You know, what is the best? Usually when I think of Japanese food, I think of something nice and decadent and really thick and just salty and fatty and all those things. I think of a beautiful ramen. I love ramen. I maybe eat it only once every 3 months because it's just so heavy. So I thought, why not make a version that's slightly lighter, or much lighter rather, and actually healthy for you. But before all that, a really quick kind of video about traveling the Japanese countryside. It was really fun, and that show that we actually put together should be coming out mid-September, and I'm gonna try really hard to get the content and try to put it on my channel if they allow me to do it. If not, it's gonna be on a TV channel, and I'll let you guys know which one closer to the date. Now we're on the road. We're actually heading to lots of different places around Japan to really visit different farm stays, different agricultural sites, the rural side of Japan that most people don't actually have the opportunity to see, which is why I'm really excited for this, because I know we're gonna meet some great people, great produce, and eat some amazing food. So good. Wow. Unexpected winner of the night, the cucumber. Always the cucumber. Dude. A lot of things that you can buy in a Japanese supermarket. Obviously a lot of fruit, but I always come back for these. These are Kyoho grapes, and they taste like what an artificial grape flavor should be like, and they're absolutely delicious, but they're fully natural. Seedless and gorgeous. I'm sorry. That's right, food. So during the festival, they usually invite people. The houses open up and they invite special guests. And I guess tonight that's us. After that awesome time in the festival, we are invited to one of the Kiriko leaders' house. I think for food or just a traditional ceremony. Things have taken a turn. We're drinking a lot of beer and sake, but apparently we're still carrying the Kiriko later. Alright, this recipe is actually quite easy to do. It's really not that complicated. You need to start obviously by trying to build some sort of broth that reminds you of ramen, and that's where some nice kombu and some dried shiitake mushrooms come in. You soak them for about 30 minutes until that flavor really comes out, and then you boil it just before it starts really getting to that roiling boil, and then you strain it and put that in your other stock. What that does is it makes sure that the stock or the kombu stock that you're adding isn't too glutinous and sticky. For this particular recipe, I did not have kombu at hand. I couldn't find it in the supermarket today. So I went out and got some just nori strips. So that works a little bit as well, but definitely you'd be much better off with some kombu. Next, it's all about building flavor, and that's quite simple actually, just by adding different vegetables, different textures. I like using a mix of miso paste and some fermented black beans. It just gives you that funkiness that almost makes you think that you have some sort of meat kind of just figured out in there. Aside from that, it's all about just chopping up some ingredients, having a good time, and just respecting the cooking hours. The longer and slower you cook the broth, the more flavor you get out of it. And finally, for the ramen noodles, like I said, I wanted to make this slightly healthier. So we're not using your standard ramen noodles that you would usually see in Japan that are slightly thicker and starchier. I'm using here really, this thing keeps moving. It's so weird. Okay, I'm just gonna hold it in my hand then. I'm using these really cool ramen noodles that are made from brown rice, and this one actually has a little bit of spinach mixed into it. You can find those in healthy options, but any type of healthier rice ramen noodles that you can find will do just fine for this recipe. All right, let's give this a try. This bowl looks absolutely beautiful. I love eating with lots of color. And you know, that's one thing I've learned during this whole kind of like, I guess, transition phase that you can call maybe, or this just new way of eating, this new diet I'm doing is just, you know, the more colorful, the more texture you kind of add to food, the less boring it is and the easier it is to kind of make some massive changes in your life. It does take a lot of discipline. For example, when bodybuilders go on like a massive cut, because they're basically eating the same thing every day and in really, really controlled proportions. This way you get to enjoy really great food with like amazing, authentic flavor. That broth just comes out really, really, really nice. I'm really coming to enjoy tofu quite a bit. While I've been doing it, I've also researched a lot about fasting, and people keep asking me about intermittent fasting, and that's, you know, the whole, I've talked about it in my previous video, you can check that out as well. That's a basic 8-16 kind of split in terms of you eating for 8 hours, fasting for 16 hours. But I've also been reading about the dry fast, and the dry fast seems extreme in my opinion. It seems quite extreme. It's basically 3 days to 7 days. I've seen some people do 7 days online of just basically no eating, no food, no water, and no contact with water. That means not even brushing your teeth or anything like that. No touching or trace of water in your body. It sounds really scary, but I feel like I'm up for the challenge. I've done a 2-day fast before. I've done a 3-day fast before, but only removing food from the diet. I've never done it without doing any liquids, and I feel like that would be a great challenge. Maybe I won't do 7 days to start with, but 3 days seems like a good amount of time. So if you guys are interested to see that, I'm willing to go on a 3-day dry fast for you guys. Well, I'll still brush my teeth and take a shower. Like, I'm not gonna do the total blackout dry fast. I'll still brush my teeth, I'll still take a shower, and let's see what happens to my body. Let's see what happens to me physically and mentally, and see if it's something that, you know, a lot of people have been talking about the benefits of fasting. So let's try it out. So if you guys want me to do that, please make sure to comment below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, interact with me. I always try to reply as much as possible to the comments. And check out my previous videos. Peace out, guys.
Yummy.
Can you tell it's vegan?
No.
What does it taste like?
Like any regular ramyeon or ramen. So good.